Today we're going to change the oil in this 308 Ferrari. And one thing that I like to do on classic cars, if you're going to keep them and kind of know what's going on, is do an engine oil analysis while you're changing the oil. There are many companies out there that actually will take your oil sample and tell you what your wear properties are and actually the condition of the oil and things like that. The one that I like to use is Blackstone Laboratories. They're one of the players in this field, and what they'll do is if you request, they'll give you, these sample kits, and they're pretty awesome. This is the outside kit, and this is actually the tube that you're going to fill up with your engine oil. There's some material inside of here to prevent leaks and everything, and there's also cards that you fill out as far as what the car is, your address, and things like that. And they'll basically give you an analysis and comment onto the the results. So we'll change your oil in this and show you the proper way to grab your sample, and we'll go from there. Okay, before we get started on this, a couple of things that we need to be aware of. One, most high-performance cars have more than 4 or 5 quarts of oil. For example, this Ferrari takes almost 2.5 gallons of oil. So if you've got your standard 5-quart drain pan or whatever, halfway through the oil change, you're going to be overflowing this pan. So what I've got is a big underneath the bed kind of bucket, and what's nice is it's big and I can just slide it under and the oil will all go into this thing, and then I'll drain it afterwards. Another thing, this is a mid-engine car, so there is a transaxle back here. So there's actually 2 sumps. The one in the front is the oil sump for the engine, and the one in the back is the sump for the transaxle. Make sure that you undo the proper drain plug, or else you'll need to do both of the changes. On this car, how infrequently I drive it, I pretty much change the oil in the engine every year, and every other year I change the engine oil and the transaxle. But when you get your engine oil analysis, it'll kind of tell you the quality of your fluids and wear particles and things like that. Another thing is I like to have the engine semi-warm before you do this. It allows the engine to drain a lot easier, but also all of the particles that are inside the oil are kind of in suspension. So when you take your analysis, it's going to be a lot more consistent. And when you remove the drain plug, don't immediately set this under there and take a sample. Let it drain out a little bit first, like maybe half of what you have, and then fill your sample container. So we'll take our sample next and show you the steps. Okay, I used my 12 millimeter hex to break the torque onto this, and then we'll just loosen this up. Make sure your pan's underneath, and I'll just let this drop into the pan, let it drain for a little bit. Now is a good time to take a sample, and as you can see, it doesn't take long to fill your sample container. And like I said, there's almost 2.5 gallons of oil in here, so it will take a while to drain. So once we're done with this, we'll reinstall the drain plug with a new copper washer, and then we'll go up to the filter. Okay, I like to put packing tape around the container to make sure that the lid doesn't unscrew. And then they supply with a Ziploc bag to put it in. Then inside of here is an absorbent mat. That's required for shipping oil. And I usually put the cover on. Now what you can do is you can fill out the information along with payment and set it inside of here. But what I like to do is do this, roll it around the outside and along with payment, and I'd like to put it inside of an envelope. That way, you know, instead of this thing kind of rolling around and falling, you've got a package, and I think that it basically works better as far as delivering a package than just a container like this. Okay, when removing the filter, a couple of things. I like to put a whole bunch of rags around there. As you can see, the filter is upside down. And, you know, make sure that you have an original type filter. There's some filters out there that will actually fit, but the problem is there's not a standpipe inside of the filters. And what will happen is, you know, all the oil that's in the filter, once you remove it, will go down in your engine compartment. You'll still get some leakage with the standard one, but with the standpipe, it'll be very negligible. And you just take it off, and then just, you know, what I like to do is just flip it, and as you can see, you know, you really don't lose any oil with the standpipe or whatever. So make sure that you do that. And, you know, just replace the oil filter, fill it up with oil, and, you know, you're pretty much good to go. A week or two after you send in your sample, you'll get reports back talking with some comments, and then, you know, wear properties within your oil, and then viscosity properties of the actual oil sample. These records are really something really nice to have to go along with your car to really show, you know, a potential customer and yourself, you know, the actual condition of your drivetrain. To me, you know, everybody talks about service records, and these are probably the best service records you could get. So it's definitely worthwhile, and it's a good way to monitor your vehicles. Thanks for watching.